Pillar of Fire, America in the King Years, 1963 to 1965, is the title of the second book of a historical trilogy of the civil rights movement of the 1960s. Those who grew up under the oppression and semi-slavery of segregation were eager to come out of that darkness and looked for a pillar of fire to lead the way. The metaphor was pulled straight out of the story of God's rescue of Israel from Egyptian captivity. And it was certainly an appropriate metaphor for the struggle to lead black Americans from their decades as captives to segregation and its ingrained racism. It's powerful imagery as we imagine that towering pillar of fire leading the way as Israel departed from their long night of slavery. After centuries as slaves, they were free, and God Himself was lighting the way to freedom with a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Exodus 13, verses 21 and 22. It's easy to see why so many Americans would make that connection. After centuries of slavery and another century from 1865 to 1965 of semi-slavery under segregation, the civil rights movement was a pillar of light leading them to freedom. While those movements were hugely significant, there's an even greater movement to be seen as the pillar of fire lights the way to freedom for the whole world. There's no passage that clearly states this is that, but there is a clear parallel. At the beginning of His ministry in Luke 4, Jesus spoke at the synagogue in Nazareth, quoting from Isaiah 61:1, which speaks of giving liberty to captives and release to those in bondage. Jesus boldly declared, "Today the scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing." Luke 4:21. Leaving Nazareth, Jesus went to Capernaum, and Matthew quoted Isaiah 9:1 and 2, which speaks of the light springing up for those in darkness. Now when Jesus heard that John had been taken into custody, he withdrew into Galilee, and leaving Nazareth, he came and settled in Capernaum, which is by the sea, in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali. This was to fulfill what was spoken through Isaiah the prophet. The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people who were sitting in darkness saw a great light, and those who were sitting in the land and shadow of death, upon them a light dawned. Matthew 4:12 through 16. Finally, Jesus openly declared, "I am the light of the world." John 8:12. He is a light for all who will see, the pillar of fire leading us from our slavery to sin. The only question is, will we follow Him? I hope you will. And until tomorrow's Morning Minutes in the Bible, I'm James McClenny, hoping you have a great day.